Yeah, I'm gonna go to another story first. In the apartment below my mother's apartment, there were some people doing weird stuff, very strange stuff. So let me go over many of the things that they were doing. For one, at a certain point, they were when I'd go to sleep, and I'm sleeping on the couch. That's what I'm on couch. There's a few couches, but whatever couch I'd choose to sleep on, they would slide the furniture around, you can hear it, to get to underneath where I'm at. And these are thick floors, thick walls. It's concrete. It's a concrete building. And they would go underneath where I'm sleeping. And because there's no creaking floors, you can't hear. I'm being quiet. It's dark. I got the light. And they were doing this all the time. And they'd go underneath to where I was sleeping. And then they'd start tapping. Like, I don't know, people more like something like that. I don't remember. Is that something like that? They'd be doing that when I'm going to sleep, right where my head's at, on whatever side of the couch I'm at. Because if I'm on this side, pointing this way, they'd go on to that side. And, they're trying to get right, right underneath me. And it was very, very disturbing. And that I wouldn't go to sleep because it was like creeping me out, and they were doing it, psychological, baloney. But it was more than that, and it went on for days, and I wouldn't sleep. I would just wait, and then I'd sleep in the daytime, and in the daytime they wouldn't do it. And I'm having to go to work and stuff, so it's not like it was convenient for them to be doing this. Yeah, and eventually they got to the point where they got me, and I kind of knew this was the issue. They wanted to get into my sleep, into my dream. They were trying to, because these are like kind of psychics. They're kind of some kind of psychics. There was something going on with these people downstairs. Like, it wasn't just the people. There was a whole lot more going on with these people. There's something over here, man. Yeah, so they were doing this, and they got into my dream, and in my dream, I saw them. There was like 5 guys, maybe I don't remember, like 3 guys, 5 guys. There was I think maybe 3 like psychics, and then there was like an agent that was like, they were working for him. He had these people doing this, like he was a government guy, and they're like trying to do a mind probe on me. And in my dream, this is what I'm seeing. And so I'm like sitting there in the middle where they're like kind of hovering over me. And then I suddenly just grab them. Like, I totally, like turn into this like giant. I could just grab them and put them in my hand. I grab them in my hand. And I'm like, I got you, motherfuckers. And then they scream and they wake me up because they're downstairs. And then the guy's like, what happened? What happened? See, there's somebody over here. I don't know if that can be picked up on a microphone, but there's something. That was just a car. Yeah, no. So that was a real story. So, and they're like, what happened? What happened? And then the guy, one of the guys said like something. I'm not going to repeat what he said. He said something, and I was like, wow. And this is like 7 in the morning now. This is like 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, 6:45, 7:45, something like that. So it's early in the morning. Not that early, but pretty early. And there's a bunch of people in the apartment below talking, having conversation, and like, I've never heard these people before. You know what I'm saying? These are not the people who live there. These are different people. So it was like, wow, that's fucked up. That's a real story. Yeah, there was a lot of other strange things. Oh, but with other strings that are going down there, like, oh my goodness. Like, they have their windows. They're on the 2nd floor. They have their windows like all covered up, black, paper on the walls, whatever that. For whatever, it's like ugly. Who the hell wants to block the windows out? They don't get any light. It's like, it's like sealed all the time. They never open them up. And that's disturbing in itself. You know, like, they don't have light coming in. You don't want light from the outside. You're a creep. You're a creeper. If, you know, you're doing that. But that's not even it. That's not even it. It's even worse because, yeah, these guys were like totally wicked people. They were, I mean, besides like the mind games that they're playing, like, yeah. So, yeah, like some really creepy stuff that was going on. Like there's a guy and a girl. So I think there's like an old lady who lived there, but there's a guy and a girl who was there, and maybe it was their son or something, her son or something. But there was a baby, and the baby was crying, and I forget exactly what was going on. But there's something like he's like working on something, he's banging around something. He's got a saw, and the woman says, the baby's crying, and the woman says, it's just a baby. And the guy is like, it sounded like he killed the baby, and the baby stopped crying. But just before that, the woman said, like, he's just a baby. But to me, like, this to me is like just mind games. So I didn't call the police or anything. It's totally terrifying. It's absolutely, you know, this is not even the creepiest things. And it's like, you know, just go down there and kick the door in. But it was really actually frightening. And it's the police are not to be trusted. That's a given. They were not only not to be trusted, they were doing a lot of bad things. And so that's a real story. That's true. This is in Patterson. That's with the police. They have FBI on Garrett Mountain. They have the sheriff department on Garrett Mountain, and they have the local police, which are just a bunch of Satanists. That's a fact. There was two officers with their patrol cars and a guy on foot. It's a total of 5 guys, and they're talking. This is like right outside my mother's apartment. They're on the street. They're talking, and I needed to report something to the police, so they're there. And as I go talk to them, and because there's a guy with the unleashed dogs that are vicious, that are attacking me, and all the time. In the morning, I'm going to work like 5 a.m, and they're always there. And I just get in my car, just slam the door, and they're like scratching the door. I'm like, dude, these are attacking me. This is not good. And they're like, oh, we can't do anything unless we see them. And well, there's these 2 cops, patrol cars with I think 5 guys total, 5 cops total. 1 guy on foot, two cars like parked, you know, one pointing this way, the other pointing this way, and they're all hanging out talking about something. And the guys with the dogs is walking down the street without the leash. And I'm like, oh, there is. So I report it to the cops. I go, yo, this guy has no leash. These are vicious dogs. And it's not like people aren't getting mauled by dogs all the time. They are. In Patterson, every week. It's like every week someone's getting mauled by dogs. Because where my mother's apartment was, it's near Garrett Mountain, right there. And people would like dump, if they had a dog they couldn't keep anymore, they would just dump them over here. So there's always stray dogs that are vicious running around. And kids are always getting mauled, and seniors are always getting mauled. People are getting mauled. I was attacked probably right around this time by a stray dog. Like I'm coming home from somewhere, and this dog would not leave me alone. It's growling at me. And I'm like, wow, this is a hungry dog. And it's like, you don't want to engage a dog that's vicious, and it's like, you know, wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, you know, it didn't bite me, but it was like, you know, unattended, no leash is yeah. So it happens, and people do get mauled. It's like, you know, every week it's in the newspaper, someone's getting mauled. So this is a serious issue. It's not like it's not, and it's like, the police are there, and they go to the guy, and first before this happened, I noticed, like, oh shit, they all have satanic tattoos. They got like 666 tattooed, a tattoo with a 666, you know, on their wrist or on their shoulder, or on their, you know, whatever. They're all tattooed, and they all got pentagrams, and all 5 of them. So it's not like one cop had tattoos. No, all 5 of them had satanic tattoos. And I'm like, wow, that's a big deal right there. That's a big deal. So, you know, like, this is not a joke. Plus, you know, we got the FBI. Plus, we got the sheriffs is you know, they'd harass me all the time. So, and they're up on Garrett Mountain. So, yeah, these guys, it's just one big club of the Catholic Church. It's for real, it's Catholic. You see that a lot of Catholics, like as if nothing's going on in Patterson. It's ridiculous. So you know that this is the deal, and it's more than that. Like on Garrett Mountain, there was a friend of mine had told someone who had been a friend at the time, a long time ago. He told me that a cop told him, this is years ago, a cop told him that he saw a demon bat, a Doberman with bat wings up on Garrett Mountain. So I mean that's something that I had seen in Jersey City, and I see it in Patterson. So I believe that does exist. And I just read it. Someone put a video up describing the same thing. A report of somebody seeing the same thing. And I do believe this world is that way. They're like avatars. This world is who knows? There's a lot going on in this world, but again, they want us to be in that self-mindedness. There's only self. There's no objects. There's just self in your vibration. That's why they want you watching CNN and the people who support, whatever the media is telling us. That's what they want of people. And all these other entities want that of people. So they want you to have no moral compass, and they want you to have a completely antichrist spirit. So if you have an antichrist spirit, the humanity cannot affect their universe if there's an antichrist spirit over them. This is the kind of this the mindset of the occultists. So they feel like they're in league, we call it in league with Lucifer, because they're like, yes, we oppose humanity without restraint, so you can trust us. So now, if you're part of the Luciferian Antichrist, now you get the keys to heaven and hell and fly around the universe. This is kind of the occult's positioning, and you see that the Vatican has this mentality. So you're looking at this as even like hear the people like talking about spacecrafts. This guy. How does electromagnetic movement in a spacecraft? He's trying to tell you he knows the secret of this. He does. He doesn't. He's a narcissist, and he's fooling the people. It's interesting because I'd be talking about Einstein and Tesla a long time ago, but I don't have the pedigree. I don't have the understanding of the physical science. I really don't. The math, I don't understand the math. I do not understand. It's over my head. But conceptually, I have an understanding. I can recognize conceptually what Tesla is alluding to and what Einstein's alluding to, which I believe is false. So this is a long time ago, but I'm glad that this guy came around. And it's not just one guy. It's a lot of guys. Because they understand the science, they understand the math, and they're concurring to the same belief that Tesla is correct. This is how I would say crystals and ions is just a real simple way of describing what we're talking about. Whereas Einstein is about quantified particles, but the quantified particles is just a concept in the mind. It's not a what is a quantified particle? That's a particular idea, any idea which you can imagine. So with that in mind, think about this guy trying to tell you he knows how to make a flying saucer. It's just about mind over matter. That's what he's trying to say. He's like, oh boy, that's a real jump right there, and that's the Einsteinian worldview of particle physics. That's what he's going. He says, hey, look, that's not how you have anti-gravity working. That doesn't work like that. That's not anti-gravity. That's you're saying mind over matter, quantum space travel, and you're just time traveling and space traveling. That's how these spacecraft work, and that's not an anti-gravitational machine. That's a figment of his imagination. And the same guy's saying that there's no such thing as unicorns and fairies and that. And I go, well, that's an oxymoron now. You're telling me there's one and not the other. That's incorrect. Again, is there fairies and unicorns? Yes, because we have that crystal ionization. So that's a possibility, and not only a possibility, it's a evidently manifest reality. It's not just a figment of, it's like everything's just a figment of your imagination. He's contradicting himself. He's got cognitive dissonance. He doesn't even realize it. If everything's a figment of your imagination, then unicorns and fairies do exist. You know what I'm saying? And the cognitive dissonance in the guy and the narcissism, it's ridiculous. But back to the spacecrafts. So I'm sitting there in my mother's apartment, and there's a crowd of people forming outside, and then there's just like I could sense. Shit, man. You know, just like I said, I can sense. Just like I can sense something right now, and it really bothers. It's disturbing me. It sucks like that because you don't want to push the envelope. Like I said, you push the envelope. You know, the Vatican says don't be pushing no envelopes, bro. So that this I could sense like there's like 5 beings. This is different than the government guys that were underneath my mother's apartment, in the apartment below. This is different. This is something like 5 gray alien type things, you know, or maybe not gray aliens, but oblong-headed, you know, the regular little alien dude, like 3-foot, you know, guy with a big head and big eyes. Think about something like that. Maybe, I'm not even sure. I didn't really get a very clear image of it, but I have sensed like 5 beings sitting around this like little circle, this metal disc. I think there's a little circle in the middle of it. It's just like a little ring, flat metal, and inside some kind of craft, and they're like controlling the crowd outside. That's the ones controlling the crowd. And then I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't want a crowd of people coming around harassing me, because I've been harassed in other, you know, ways. The police harass. I'm getting ticketed all up the ass. You know what I'm saying? They're giving me tickets, and even for stuff like, you know, they say I parked next to a handicap. I didn't park in the handicap zone. I know the handicap zone. I got ticketed for it. I'm not parking it. They give me, it's a $350 ticket to park in the handicap. Then they give me a $350 ticket, and they towed my car. $250 tow. $500 for something I didn't do. That's the kind of things they're doing. That's the kind of stuff they do. But anyway, and the Catholic Church is like, no, that's just karma. If you're pissing off the mob, you know, pushing the envelope, that's just karma, man. Hey, mind your business. Mind your business. It's our business. But I'm like, wow. So this crowd of people, I'm like pissed, and I'm like, I just go, with like a mind blast. Like you know, like mind over matter. Yeah, I know. But it's not exactly mind over matter. We have ionization in crystals, okay, and then we have higher powers, and we have, you know, your higher self, and it's not just yourself. You have other beings. You have higher power. It's higher power. Let's just say it's just your higher self. I'd say, well, you know, that's fine, but there's higher power nonetheless. Outside of yourself, there's other people, there's other beings, like this little spacecraft thing. And then this sound is like, wow, and there's a big flash of blue light, okay, all outside, and it lights up in an apartment. It's this sort of, wow, something like that. And then the crowd of people's like, what? You hear them all like, whoa, what's going on? And then they all like disperse, like they don't even like know what the hell's going on or what they're doing. That's a true story.